I think it's fair for me to say that you've been very successful in your business career. There aren't many people I can think of, certainly within the payroll profession, who have built from scratch and developed not one, not two, but three successful companies. Obviously, very recently, people may have seen the news, you actually brought another one of those successful companies to sell, which was Payroll.io, which was sold to PayEstate very recently. There are obviously going to be other people watching this who would love some entrepreneurial advice about how they can really start their journey. It doesn't have to be in payroll software or HR software, but there'll be people itching, particularly after this crisis, where they go, you know what, this is my opportunity now. I've got this desire, this flame inside me that wants to do something. What advice would you give them, which is my last question, to help them on their entrepreneurial journey?
What I would say is that there's a few things. I think, first of all, prepare. Whatever it is you're going to do, and as you say, it doesn't have to be payroll. Like, as you mentioned at the beginning, I've now started off a radio station. Yeah. And one of the accolades I had of that is I had a long conversation with somebody who was actually in the broadcasting industry, who halfway through the conversation, having looked at what we're doing and how I'm doing everything, turned to me and said, "So what experience have you got in broadcasting, Stuart?" And I had to say, "Well, I've got none. I've got no experience at all. What I've done is I've prepared well. I've done lots of research. I've looked at all the different things that could or may happen or whatever. So it's about prepare, but then most importantly, be prepared. Because you can prepare all you like, and then you can set off on your journey, but every day in your new journey, you've still got to be prepared for whatever comes up next. And a lot of that comes down to planning. Now, you'll get some people that will say, oh, you've got to have a good business plan. You've got to have a good marketing plan. And yes, I totally agree. They've all got to be part and parcel of what you're going to be doing. However, I think some people get too bogged down in the planning. For me, it's always been put a date in the diary. Put the date in the diary when you're going to start. Put the date in the diary that says that's when that's the new company, day one of that new company. And then plan everything ready for that new day. And you'll soon find that if you're procrastinating in any way, well, I've got another plan, I've got to prepare this and make sure that works, etc. You'll never get started. And I think the other thing really is that what you've got to put your focus in on something. Now, if you're starting up a new business, you might feel that you've got the best back-end office facilities, you've got the best chair to sit on, you've got the best desk, best environment. But your new business is going to be about getting new clients. And that all comes down to sales and marketing. And so no matter what you're going to do with how you're going to do your accounts or how you're going to, what other software you're going to use, you've got to get out there and do sales and marketing. It is the key to everything you do when you start. And if you feel uncomfortable about doing that, and I have to, I was uncomfortable when I first went into sales, but somebody said to me, if you're passionate about your work, if you're passionate about what you're selling, if you're passionate about who you are, it doesn't matter about all the selling techniques. They will come later. And in fact, what I did when I first went into sales, I remember I had a trainer spend the day with me, and I said, "Am I doing it right?" And he said, "Do you know what? There's loads of things that you could learn." At that time, I didn't understand about negotiating and about the alternative close. I didn't understand all those things. But he said, your passion is getting you the sales, because people see in you that if you're passionate about your product and about your service, they want to be part of that. So be passionate. And I would think that from a payroll perspective, and this could come with any business really, but especially with payroll, especially with payroll, if you're starting off a new payroll bureau, for example, or a new product, from day one, you're not going to be the market leader. Forget it. You will never be that market leader in that day one. But what you can be is the market challenger. And I think Nick, me, especially with technical and technical expertise, etc. I'm not a technical wizard, but I really do like challenging the market, and especially the payroll market. There are payroll software out there which is donkey's years old. And people are still using it and not realizing that there are far better systems out there. So you may not be the market leader, but you can certainly be the market challenger. But I think going back, that first most important thing is get the date in the diary, think it through. And I suppose the other thing I would also say is, I had somebody call me the other day saying, Stuart, I've got this business idea and I just want to run it through with you. And they ran it through with me. They weren't asking me to say, was it good, bad, or indifferent? They just wanted to bounce a few ideas with me. They were doing it right. What they were doing is they're ringing lots of people saying, I've got this business idea. I'm going to think about doing this, this, and this. What do you think? And the more people that come back to you, and you've got to pick the right people. You don't just pick people who
say, give all your ideas away.
Oh, yeah. Or take your ideas and go do them themselves. And you always get the people that go, oh, well, you know, it's a bit of a tough life out there. And is this really the right time to go out and start a business? Let me tell you, my first business I started was after I left ADP. Now, the reason I left ADP was because I had a breakdown. And the reason I had a breakdown was because, sadly, my 7-year-old son had died at hospital in Great Ormond Street Hospital. Now, I didn't really want to, I couldn't motivate anybody, never mind myself. And I had a massive breakdown and I was out of work for a number of months. Out of that, though, I had to go and get some money to survive. I had to, you know, provide for the rest of my family. Now, that was a real struggle, but the fact was I had tons of people behind me, all the family saying, just go out and do it. Just go out and do it. And what I had to do is, again, put that date in the diary and say that from that day onwards, I'm a new person. And I'm not going to worry about the past. I'm going to go look in the future, and this is how I'm going to tackle it. And I've never looked back, really.
No, I think you've proven that, and I think great advice. I'm an entrepreneur myself, and planning is great, but planning without action gets you nowhere.
No,
you've got
correct.
to be willing to act. And the same, you mentioned gadgets. There's no point buying all the gadgets. Gadgets aren't going to sell your business. Gadgets are great to support you, but they're not the answer. You got to be able to do it yourself. Get out there, sell, market, make action. Brilliant advice. Obviously, I know your story, so thank you for sharing that as well. With your son, but you've made a forged an incredible entrepreneurial career. Delighted to have you today on the Listening Lounge. So thank you so much for sharing your experience. And remember, if you are joining us for this conversation today, all good conversations start with good listening. If you want to be on the show, please get in touch, and I look forward to bringing you another episode of the Listening Lounge real soon. Take care. Thanks, Stuart.